This is a man that was a team captain, Tom Novak, native son award winner, defensive team MVP, academic all Big Ten for 4 straight years. Mr. Mo Barry, how you doing, my friend?
I'm doing well, Adam. Thanks for having me.
Dude, I appreciate you joining me. All right, Indiana. I don't know how much of them you've seen so far this year. They got the number 1 offense in like the Big Ten passing offense. They're averaging just over 200 yards rushing a game. It's like we don't play any football games and the spread gets worse. I don't understand how that happens, but give me your thoughts, just initial impressions of the Hoosier Daddies.
Well, with Indiana, I feel like, balanced team now. I believe on the pass game, they're more elite at. They have a lot of talent, a perimeter. Quarterback knows how to distribute the ball. Really like they have a 2-headed monster at running back. I think they could get the job done there as well. I don't think it's not many things that they don't do well. I think they're a very capable team on offense, and pressure and getting in the backfield, being disruptive is the key to them, because they have a lot of talent in the perimeter and they have capable running backs to get it done as well.
Dude, sorry, go ahead. I was just going to say, how do you think Curt Cignetti has turned them around so quickly? They were 3-9 and pretty bad last year. They could easily be 9-3 or better this year. What's the biggest difference you've seen from last year to this year on the Indiana football team?
Well, I would say talent, I think with the transfer portal and NIL, they've been able to have some real impressive athletes. Like I said, in the perimeter, I really like their wide receivers. I've actually been watching many of our opponents. I watched them all year just to gauge how we would fare against them. So, just watching Indiana, I feel like it's a talent level. They just don't look like an Indiana team, or certainly not an Indiana team of last year. So they have a lot of talent in both sides of the ball. I like their defense. They play with high motors. They always have some good linebackers throughout the years. But I think they got real solid on the D-line as well, or better on the D-line than last year. So, yeah.
So in a 3-3-5 defense, like Tony White's running, you're going to have more speed, more athletes on the field. Okay, how do you think we stack up with them on the perimeter, their athletic wide receivers? Because I don't think they're going to be more athletic than us, but how do you think we stack up on the perimeter with them when it comes to our defense?
Well, I think we, I love Nebraska's defense and their defensive backs. One thing I've been worried about is our pass coverage. I believe that Illinois really did expose us in ways where we are deficient in the pass game. I think Colorado had opportunities there. I think Rutgers, they had a wide open receiver. If you recall that play,
I do.
Who dropped a fly ball, and I feel like that could have been a different game with many of those factors happening. But I believe that they have a skill level. They know how to run routes. And how do we fare against great route runners is our thing. I feel like Indiana would know how to do, back shoulders, know when to break off their routes, know how to use the cushion against us or use our aggression against us. Things like that is what makes a better receiver, regardless of your talent or athletic ability. I think those guys know it, they get it, and they have they got a good camaraderie, good chemistry with their quarterback. And that's what's, I think, would be scary there, because we just got to get better at defending routes and understanding what they're trying to do.
Yeah, so it looks like Tommy Hill's expected to be back this week. They said he was expected to play against Rutgers. He actually ruptured, the inside part of his foot jogging onto the field, which they said was actually a good thing because it helps alleviate some of the pressure and some of the problem. He's got to get through the whole week of practice, but he's expected to play this week. He's had 2 weeks since the Rutgers game, obviously, to heal up. Zaire Wright gets a black shirt, so we got Marquise Buford. So the more DBs we can have, the better. But I'm kind of curious because Zaire got a black shirt, but Matt Rule talked about, Marquise Buford texting Matt Rule, hey, we got to get a black shirt. We got to get black on Buschini, talking about a black shirt. And a lot of the defensive guys were like, hey, we got to get Buschini a black shirt. What are your thoughts on Brian Buschini, the punter, getting a black shirt?
Honestly,
yeah.
I don't think that should happen. I mean, it's a punter. I mean, look, I think he played he definitely helped us win that game from a position, field position. But then again, this is tradition. I don't know, Adam, did your punter get a black shirt?
So the way we did it, anybody who didn't get a black shirt, if you were a senior and you made it all the way through, okay, and you were a senior, back when we went to bowl games every year, every senior on defense would get a black shirt the week, or I think it was the night before the bowl game, and that included any senior punters
the bowl game,
too. Yes. So that's how it worked.
Yeah, no, definitely get that tradition of the end. I just feel like, again, my biggest thing here is I really love this team. I love what Rule is doing. I just don't want our players to step out of character and just keep everything that you're doing right now. The focus is not on the black shirt. The black shirt doesn't matter. It's who's wearing the black shirt, what's behind it. I think that the focus shouldn't be who's getting a black shirt, who's not. That's a coach decision there, you know. Trust your coaches. They know who earned it or not. I just want us, to be focused on really what matters. And if we get 8 games this year, if we get, to a bowl game, that is what matters. So, I mean, whether it's deserved or not, or is indifferent, I'm indifferent to it. I just think that it doesn't matter to what we're trying to accomplish right now.
So, kind of going back to what you were mentioning earlier about the transfer portal and teams being able to change quickly, their talent level quickly. Curtis Rourke, okay, transfers in. He's the quarterback from Ohio, transfers into Indiana. And I remember in the preseason, I remember talking about him and being very curious how he was going to do. This was a guy with 33 career starts before he ever stepped foot in Bloomington. He was the MAC Offensive Player of the Year in 2022. And you watch him on film. He's incredibly impressive. They haven't faced a defense as good as the black shirts yet this year. They haven't really been tested or punched in the mouth just yet. I'm curious to see what the black shirts can do. But what are your thoughts on him? Because Matt Rule talked about he might be playing as well or better than any other quarterback in the Big Ten Conference so far.
Yeah, I mean, I watched that Maryland game, and I thought he just has great touch on the football. He really knows how to put it there. One thing I really like about Raiola is the same thing. Some quarterbacks possess that magical touch with the football, and they just know how to position it very well. And that's something he has. He could throw it deep. He could do intermittent pass, medium to short. He could place the ball anywhere on the field. Then going back to the Maryland game, pressure is always the thing. The best defense is getting pressure on the quarterback. And that was disruptive to him as well in that Maryland game. So I think how we handle a guy like that is really we got to get after him and then make him guess on where the blitz is going. Make him fear the blitz more than thinking about what he's going to do downfield.
All right, man. I think I may already know this. We've talked a lot about defense specifically. So this can stay with the defense, or you can take this to any aspect of the Huskers you want, offense, defense, special teams. But if you were to say this is probably the biggest key to the Huskers having success versus Indiana on Saturday, what's your single biggest key to the game for Nebraska this weekend?
I would say is balanced football and offense is number one. We have to play balance. We do have to score points. We have to get there, but we have to give the running backs more touches. And not only running backs, we need to establish a running back, a game changer, whether that's Dowdell or whomever. We need someone to get into rhythm and really be that guy that we look to when our offense is struggling, and someone who could keep the Indiana opposing offense off the field. Let them, we can't have them get into rhythm. So the second point is our pass rush. We have to have a great pass rush. We have to be disruptive. We have to have them guessing on where the rush is going. And I think Tony White is going to do a good job at that. And then, of course, it has to be kicking and special teams. I mean, if we can't do that, if we can't rely on 3 points inside the 30 or whatever, I mean, that has to change. That's, we have high school teams in Omaha doing that better than we are right now, and we have to be good at special teams, or at least competent in that side of the ball. So I think those three factors, and we will play a good game and hopefully win.
I'm sure you've heard this, but Indiana's one of only two teams in the country, Indiana Army, who haven't trailed all year. I saw this interesting stat, though. Through 6 games, 360 minutes, Nebraska's only trailed for 15 of those minutes. That was to Illinois, and they went up 7-0 with 11:54 in the first. Nebraska then took the lead 7-10 with 32 seconds left in the first and never trailed again until overtime. Then Purdue trailed Purdue for 3 or 4 minutes in the third, but that was really it. Okay.
Yeah.
What's your score prediction for the game? Who you got winning?
Well, this is a hard one. I would go with 28-35. I think this is a game of touchdowns. I think that we're gonna, regardless of what has transpired through the bye week, I think we're gonna really be aggressive on getting touchdowns. I think that it's going to be a high-scoring game. I love our defense, but I just think they're going to have some moments where a touchdown is given up. But I really feel like the offense is going to come out ready to go. I think they're going to launch it down the field. They're going to air it out, and we're going to be able to, get behind that defense sometimes. So, 28-35.
Who has 35? Who has 28?
Nebraska.
That's 35?
Nebraska win.
All right.
Yeah,
all right.
yeah.
Well, I just want to clear that up. I wasn't sure myself. So I appreciate you taking the time, as always. I know you're doing your thing in Omaha, selling a whole lot of homes, having a whole lot of success. So best of luck with that in the future, and thanks for joining me.
Yep, Adam, it's a pleasure, and go Big Red.